feeling that music.
I know. Hey, I picked it just for us. I was
Thank
like,
you.
that's me and Tati music.
Thank you. Thank
Ah,
you.
what's up?
Thank you. I saw
I
this
love.
color and I immediately thought of you.
That is so for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome.
Look, we are live. We got some folks, some friends that are in the house. So, look, if you're watching us live, we just want to say thank you because it's Friday and this is not normally my day to go live. And there is something spectacular happening that you may not know, but it is happening right now for the first time ever. Tatiana is going live on YouTube for the first time ever. What?
That's right. My new channel. My new channel. Woo! My old channel had to retire that one, and I had done some others, but this is the first time going live, and I'm so happy that I get to do it with you. Tanya, high five. Let me see. Can
I
I? There,
know. Wait, wait.
other
Eh.
way. There we go. High five. So yes,
Oh,
a delight and a joy, and I'm so excited, Tanya, because you were the first one to tell me about GoBrunch. I first heard it from you, so and I thought we have got to have a follow-up conversation about this tool. It's a pretty cool tool.
it is a pretty cool tool. And I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about why we're using the tool. Like, why do we even care before we get
Mhm.
into how we're
Mhm.
using it? Is that cool? Wait a minute. I see
That's
some
cool.
folks in the comments. Do we need to say hello? Can we say hello?
Absolutely. I'd love
Okay,
to see who's here. Yes.
let's say hello. So, first of all, the founder.
Hey.
Yes, Richard. Wait, wait, wait. Let me do a DJ air horn.
Oh, yeah.
That's for you, Richard. Thank you, thank
Hello,
you, thank
Richard.
you. And I see
And I
Daryl
just
Stevens.
Daryl, video
Hey,
like a dad. What's up, Daryl?
I love it. I love it. What's up, Daryl from LinkedIn? Hicks is in the house. Love to
Ecamm
see you
family's here. Woo woo.
always. I know, Ecam. Look, Chris Stone too.
Hey, Chris
Hey.
Stone. What's up, Chris?
Wait, Zakia said, "Hey TNT." I know what.
Zakiya, I thought the same thing. I in my mind is I thought the exact same thing.
I need to have the fire explosion. TNT. Boom.
There we go.
Okay.
Oof,
All right.
just got hot in here. Oof.
It did with Dynamite, Chris Stone, dude.
Nice. Nice, Chris. So good.
Look, we are just here talking about Go Brunch, and we don't have super structured anything. This is really going to be fun. We are hanging out. It's Friday. I didn't do my live stream last night, Tati, and I feel like I was missing, people.
Mm. Mm.
So
There we go. Well, I'm glad thank you for making the time and the space for us to do it when it's really not a typical time for you. So that's really, really exciting. But let's just go back because I remember thinking when you first showed me Go Brunch, I'm pretty sure it was via a live stream, and then I might have watched a follow-up video on your channel, and I'm like, "This is awesome." And then knowing that Richard, who's in our chat as the founder, is also an educator, I was like, "This is fabulous. This is creative possibilities for me." And I teach at a university, so for me, I'm thinking Zoom is not going away. We are going to use Zoom in my classes, but I want to have options. I want to have creative possibilities that I can't quite have in Zoom. And I thought, wouldn't it feel special? Wouldn't it be nice to go somewhere else outside of Zoom virtually? And that's what Go Brunch offers me for my students. This is what I'm hoping to use it for. And I'm a beginner and you're the pro, Tanya. But I'm thinking, I want to make spaces. I want to create these rooms, these worlds for students to go that's different than being and listen, I use Zoom all the time. It is a fabulous tool. And I use other tools as well, such as Butter and Google Meet. Sometimes people want to meet on Google Meets, but Go Brunch is different. And to me, it makes it innovative, it makes it exciting, and it has a lot of creative possibilities that are not possible on any
mhm.
other platform that I've seen. So it definitely has a lot of unique factors. And the more I get to know some people that are using it and understand how they're using it, like this can be so fun for my students and for me
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
to explore different spaces. So that's how I'm using it. How do you use it?
So I first started using it, and I see some builders in here, which I love. I first
Ooh,
started using it. It was actually on AppSumo, and I thought because at the time I was doing a lot more digital app reviews, and I've just always been somebody who loves creative expression. Like that's one of my ways. My love language is creative expression. Like give me something that I can build and create, and I'm good to go. That's my heaven. And so when they first came out, it wasn't appealing to me because I didn't understand all the potential possibilities, to be honest. But I knew that I didn't want to continue to give people the same experience that they were having all the time. And Zoom is, like you said, it's great, has a lot of great features, and I still use it for certain reasons. But I wanted to create something really special and unique for the people that I was building community for. And so
right.
once I realized what GoBrunch could do, and that I had the ability not only to use the spaces that they made for me, but I could create whatever I wanted. And then when you pair that with AI, Canva, and other tools, which I'm sure we'll talk about, it really just opened up doors of possibility and gave me the option to be able to just put people in a different space. Like I could create a jazz lounge, which is something I did,
Mhm.
and a yoga retreat center, and just whatever I wanted. And then on top of creating this space visually, you get to also add in media options. And so we can talk a little bit about that too, because there's a platform that I use to draw in different types of media. So, yeah, I've been using it for a while, Tati, but I'm excited that we're talking about it from both viewpoints, from somebody who's used it for a little longer and then someone who's using it like starting to get into,
Right.
what you want to create and make from it. So I love that we can start wherever we are and we can make it what we want to. And if we don't choose to go and be super creative, because there are people who are
Mhm.
on here probably like, well, can I just pop in and use it like today? Yes,
Yes.
because
Yes.
I think Richard and his team have done a good job of making spaces that are very unique, even just within the platform itself without you having to add to it. So,
Right.
yes.
Template type of rooms and things. But
Yeah.
you know me, I can't help it. I'm a teacher, so Go Brunch basic definition, it is an online web-based meeting platform, so there are no apps to download, which it makes it
That's
a little
right.
bit different than others as well, but everything is web-based and it is a virtual space. What's different is that it's not one virtual space. It's more like to me it's like we suddenly have become virtual building owners
Mm-hmm.
and builders. We are the builders and the designers and the decorators we everything. The only thing is
Yep.
no permits required, so we don't have to go through any bureaucracy. We can build anything we want. So I named my first the first space. So to me, it's like the equivalent of a building. I called the Spark Academy, and I think right now I have
Here, I'm going to switch it.
15 buildings built out. I want to say 50, yeah, like 15 buildings built out in the space.
Okay.
So I can show you a little preview of some of the rooms that I've built in here, but the space is called my Spark Academy, right? So Spark Academy is the big name of the building you see over here, and then these are the previews of each one of the rooms that I've built. So I've got a welcome cafe is my first room here. Then I made two offices. I decided I'm going to have an office for two people and an office for three people. That is a unique thing about Go Brunch where you have to think about how many people are you gonna have in the space,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's like thinking about the number of seats you want. If you're gonna invite people over to your house, you had to make sure everybody's got somewhere to sit.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that was different than other platforms for me. I made a fireside library, and it was helpful to me to put the number of seats in parentheses in there to know because I could forget. But this was a fun one, a podcast studio because my students delivered podcasts in my public speaking class, and I wanted a space to debrief. So I thought this would be a great room. And again, I'm starting out with all this. I'm hoping that I can implement this next semester.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm currently in the construction phase and testing and learning phase. But that my idea with this podcast studio is they deliver their podcasts on Zoom. We have this experience, and then as part of the debrief, we go to this other space. We go to this podcast studio space, and I'll show you what it looks like if we enter this room. It looks like this. And so what I've done is these circles, there's their spaces where people will come and sit, and their camera will become a circle. Like you can see my camera right here is there, but it's not turned on right now. So if I turn it on, and this is me in a different camera over here. What's up, everybody? So this is my seat here, but the majority of students will take a seat in the perimeter, but the 5 students who are debriefing about their team podcast would be in these middle seats. And I even made these little microphones drop down from the ceiling here because they're the ones who have the mic, but I wanted it to feel light and open and casual to debrief about the podcast experience. And then when that team is done, they grab a seat, and then the next 5 come up. So that's one of the rooms that I built out, but I also wanted to make indoor and outdoor classrooms. I made a yoga and relaxation room for when we want to talk about calming our nerves, calming our nervous system, getting ready, deep breathing things. So the possibilities are endless. And I did make a stage and a mountain celebration room. Oh, and I even made a campfire s'mores room as well. And I love it. And I'm thinking I could keep going. I could keep making all these rooms. So, and I have spent a lot of time doing this, but that's where I'm at. Planning the backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more that's possible with it, but this is the stage where I'm at. I built the rooms, I created the backgrounds, I have the number of seats, I've got the feeling, and I try to keep some cohesion in this space
Mm-hmm.
with incorporating, warm elements and lights and things in a specific way so that they are all different, but they're connected. And then the last thing I want to say is I haven't done this yet, but it's on my plans, is to build team breakout rooms. So these empty ones are going to be every semester I have a certain number of teams. And this way, each team will have their own room, and they can even give me some input. They can even design their own background, and then I will upload whatever background they want for the semester of their team room.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured there's lots of possibilities where I can have them, work on elements to add. But it is a fascinating tool to be able to use. I love it.
And I see a couple of, I see at least one question. So let me offer this for folks. If you have questions about anything that we're sharing, be sure to go ahead and put that into the chat. You can put a Q in front of it. Of course, Hicks is the leader, so he's basically showing y'all how to do it. He's added a question that I want to go ahead and pop up in just a second. But a couple of things that I want you to hear about what Tatiana is saying, and that is, and I apologize, I should have put my dog up. A couple of things that she's saying, you want to really think about the purpose. And so I've actually not only built out spaces for myself, I've built out spaces for some of my clients. And when we do build these things out, one of the things that we're looking at, or the first thing we're looking at, is what is the purpose of the entire workspace? And then if you look at each of the
Mm.
rooms, just like she's saying, she thought through, okay, what's the objective of each of the rooms? Because when you purchase GoBrunch, you actually have access to multiple workspaces if you choose to create them. And I'm going to show you my setup in just a second so you can kind of get a feel for that. But let me see if I can answer some of these questions and also acknowledge some comments that are in here. I love, first of all, Ernesto says, Hola, fam. What's up?
Hello, hello. Hola, Ernesto.
And then Michael says the biggest strength is as a community builder, it builds permanence. Totally agree. Totally agree with you on that. He said you can move the students to the rooms you assign. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, you have,
Um,
as the space owner, you have some navigation possibilities. You can move people around.
that's right. That's right. Let's see. Can you charge for sessions on the platform? You want to answer that or you want me to tackle?
That's all you, girl. I'm at the just getting the rooms ready phase.
Okay. So I'm going to answer this and say absolutely. One of the things that you can do, because each of the rooms are assigned a unique URL. Now, I'm going to say that, but I'm also going to say my best practice, one of my best practices is to create short links that lead to specific rooms. I may have a chance, depending on time, I may have a chance to kind of show you the organization of my rooms, but the reason why I'm sharing that they give you or it assigns you a unique URL with like crazy numbers on the back is because it's not going to be super easy for people to recall or remember that. Similar to Zoom, right? So, what you can do is set up a landing page, Hicks, and you can say, hey, in order for you to get access to my webinar or to whatever it is you're hosting inside of the space, um, simply click here, go ahead and through the purchase, process, and then you only give that link to people through the email confirmation. So you don't have to share it publicly. You can absolutely share it with people who have gone through either a process of sharing their email in their name, or if they've gone through a shopping cart process, you can put that link, that unique link, inside of the confirmation email. So absolutely you can charge for it. I wouldn't use, there isn't really a native way to do this inside of GoBrunch that's super streamlined. So typically what I'll do is create a landing page within Go High Level, which is what I use. So depending on whatever it is you're using, but I will create a landing page in Go High Level that is selling the event and talking about what the details are and enticing people, right, to show interest. And then depending on whether or not it's for sale or it is just an exchange for an email, they'll actually get the confirmation on the other side of that sign up. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. There's so many different things you can do, plenty of options. Yes. He said that's wait, hold on. Let me put this up here. That's it. Buying it now.
That's
Okay.
awesome, yes, that's awesome. Yeah,
Good,
and
good,
speaking
good.
of how to buy it, the company does have a lifetime deal on AppSumo. So, Tanya, I know you have a link for AppSumo if you wanna share it with folks to
Yeah.
navigate that, and then you get a little credit there with AppSumo,
Here,
but
I'll pull it up for you. Let me get this up because I didn't even think about that. But you're right. Even if you don't use my link, if you go to AppSumo, you'll be able to find this. But I love the ability for you to be able to get access for the lifetime deal for a limited time. It's not going to be up forever, y'all. But right now, it is available here. Hold on, I'll pop it in here so that we have it on screen. Um, right there. So
yeah,
the AS is for AppSumo.
and there are 3 tiers once you go into AppSumo, 3 tiers that you can buy, and that's usually the way AppSumo works, of course, that most platforms will have multiple tiers, and then the higher the tier, the higher the price, the more features that you get. Myself personally, I'm actually 59% sure I purchased tier 2. I may have purchased tier 3, but I'm not 100% positive. I should have double checked, but I know I didn't purchase tier 1. I
Here,
either
I'll
did
show you the
2
three
or 3.
tiers right here. Can you see them?
There you go. Yep,
All
I see
right.
them. Mhm.
So tier one is sufficient. And if you just want to kind of do a test drive, you can certainly do that. Personally, I preferred tier three. And the reason why I bought tier three is because I wanted to have no limitations. And so it does give you the ability, for instance, to have custom domains at tier three, multiple versus one. It also gives you the ability to be able to have more breakout rooms per event, more presenter cams. So there's just some perks that I wanted to have, but most people will probably do well at tier one or tier two, to be honest. Now, one thing I think you should definitely look at is the participants per live webinar. So if you're doing an event, you want to think about how many people maximum do you think will attend an event within your space? Because again, the license tier three is going to give you more access.
Mhm. And if
Yeah.
if, attendance reports are important, that's not included in tier 1, and that was important to me,
Mhm.
especially as a professor, like, attendance is part of what I wanna be able to track, so I definitely wanted to be able to have that.
Yes.
But tier 1 is still quite generous when it comes to the features, except so
You want me to
this
pop
is
it
one
back
thing
up?
that I don't think it no, because I don't think it says it on there, Tanya, which when we navigate in GoBrunch and let me see. I'll open up my welcome cafe, Tanya, if I may screen share for a second.
Sure. Sure.
So as we were talking about, each circle represents the number of people that would fit in this room, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in this room, I've got 30 people can come in this, which is about the number I need for all of my classes. So this is a little welcome cafe. I plan to put some signage up here in navigation, which is one of the cool features of GoBrunch too, is we can pop in a link to a video, we can pop in graphics, like we can do more. Right now, this is a background image and the seats. And then I changed the color of the seats to the colors, my brand colors, and I made them a little bit transparent. But when we're in this room, people have the option to turn on circle cam,
Mm-hmm.
or they have the option to turn on presenter cam. And presenter cam, as you can see, is this rectangle here, and it can be made bigger. So I planned all of my rooms with a lot of space on the top for doing this. So my students, if two of them are going to present together, then they stop using circle cam, they use presenter cam, and we can put, two of us side by side up here in presenter cam. We could even probably fit up to three, depending on the size, because the goal is for them to be bigger and present, right? And then use the full rectangular view that we're used to versus the circle one that would be pretty small. But still, that's the goal, is to have that. And then screen sharing is possible here. But my question is, I'm not sure how many circle cams I have access to, because I tested this the other day and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my students were not able to turn on their cameras. And I have 25 students that day. And some of them were saying, like, you've reached the number of max cameras. So
Mm.
that's one thing that I need to find out, is what are the limits to the circle cam? I know it said in the tiers there's limits to presenter cams, but I, I,
So,
I do want to know
Richard,
about circle cams.
Richard, if you're in here, feel free to drop an answer to that. But I would say that your circle cam should only be limited by the number of circles that you have on your screen. I thought. Now, there are, for instance, if you look at some of the larger rooms that GoBrunch itself has created, my understanding that is that if you have, for instance, a room of 200, you should have 200 circle cams available. Now, I could be wrong, but I've
Hmm.
not maxed out at 25 before.
Okay.
So,
And yeah, and I do have a time scheduled with Richard to go over some of the
okay.
questions that I have and some of the tech issues that I've experienced,
Yep.
to see what could be going on. But I know that that was one issue that came up. But in general, circle cams on or off, and then the presenter cam, for especially for me teaching public speaking, teaching presentation skills, like this is a nice feature for students to be able to stand out. So it's like the virtual equivalent of getting up in front of the room. You still have that performance part that happens, which some people hate it. Some people know they need to do it anyway, but it definitely gives that, like, oh, I'm I'm doing something and I'm presenting, and because the dimensions being so different, it helps you stand out a bit more. And even myself as the professor, when I've got something to share, it helps me stand out more than to be little circle over here when I need to be expressive with body language or show more. So
Richard does have a note. So let me put his note in here, but I'm sure he'll provide more info in the one on one too. He said he thinks it's 10 max. Wow. Huh. Because I've had some good sized rooms with folks that have their cameras on, but I'm now going to go back and test it because we actually have an event tomorrow. Hicks said, "Why? What y'all got the CEO in the comments?" Richard is our friend. He is amazing. What's up,
really, really
MA?
nice person. So nice too.
Super nice. And
Hello,
look, he
hello.
says, now you can have different circle sizes. Exactly. And you can add some of them only for your presenters. Okay,
I
that
s
I hadn't even played with that yet. Let
I
me see.
saw that's a very recent feature. I believe it came out maybe last week or something similar to that. And remember, I showed you guys the podcast room? I think that's a great space to make the team members that are presenting bigger. Like, that's a good example of using different circle sizes.
Yes, 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 yes. And Michael is all in on the Go Brunch stuff, so he's sharing some behind the scenes tips as well. It's good to see you all here. I'm going to share my a few of my rooms and some thoughts in terms of build out. Um, unless you want to, I know you had something you wanted to share with people. Do you want me to pop that up yet or no?
Oh, okay, okay,
Do you
everybody.
want to do that?
Yes. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Folks, I brought you all some birthday cake because, I celebrate the entire month of March, but my actual birthday's coming up this weekend, and I thought, "Hey, we're gonna be together today, so let's all have a little bit of birthday cake." Listen, whatever
Happy
dietary restrictions you have,
birthday.
this applies. This doesn't matter. Gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, calorie-free, sugar-free, guilt-free. We can all partake of this birthday cake.
Everybody gets to have a
48th
little birthday
birthday.
cake.
Number 48
48.
coming up, number
You're
48.
just a baby. Go, girl. It's awesome. It's awesome. Oh, let me see. I've got a LinkedIn user. First of all, if you're enjoying the cake, you got to put an emoji with a cake in it in the
Absolutely.
chat.
Or a fork, throw in a little fork and knife in there, help yourself.
I love it. Let me see. So it doesn't tell us your name, and I'm not sure why. So I apologize that I can't speak to you specifically, but I'm excited to learn about other meeting options outside of the one that starts with the letter Z. I dare not say it here.
Yeah,
We've
and I
already
I
said
I
it.
I agree. I mean, and, I have a lot of love for Zoom, and I use it pretty much every day, but to me, this is a different style, a different experience. It's got a different vibe, a completely different feeling to be
Hmm.
able to share creative spaces, and to me, it's all about having options. It's all about having
Yeah.
great tools. You know, that's what I love about teaching too. Is like I'm teaching options. I'm showing possibility. So I get to show students and teach them how to navigate all the features in Zoom. And now I also plan to show them, hey, look, there's also this really cool space we can use for different reasons. So I
Yes.
love having options.
Yes. And one of the things besides doing this for my own community that I get to do is to work with other, like I said, some of my clients. And specifically, I know that there's a networking organization where we meet in person. We just had our meeting last night. But one of the things that the lead person for this particular group here in Dallas was asking about is, hey, can we create a virtual space that mimics what we're doing in person so that we can give people options like once a month we'll have, a virtual option in addition to the in-person option. I said, sure. And then we can still have the same type of conversations. The only thing that will be different is that we won't be there sharing food together and giving each other real hugs. There'll be virtual hugs instead. But it gives us options, and we wouldn't be able to do something like that where we could mimic the actual physical room in Zoom.
Right.
We just can't do that. So it's again not to say that it's a replacement for Zoom because I still like Zoom for certain types of calls, but it has been a great option, like you said, Tati, if you want something different. Is it okay for me to share a few of my rooms
Oh,
real quick here?
absolutely. I'm sure everybody would love to see them. Yours are
Well,
awesome.
I've done a lot of different videos about Go Brunch, and yes, look, I see Hicks saying AI generated backgrounds. I'm over here in the tool already. This is goodbye. Okay, he's using
Oh,
another
yes.
one.
No, actually, that is an important thing to
I'm going to
mention,
talk
James.
about that.
Okay, good. Yeah, yeah. Good
Yeah, I
point.
have,
Good point.
because that's pretty much how I build mine out. So here, and there is an option built into the tool itself, which is might be what James is talking about playing with. We'll see. Wait, that's yours. Here's mine. That's not mine. This is mine right here with us. Okay. So what I wanted to show you is that when you actually sign up and you get into GoBrunch, as I mentioned, you can create various workspaces. So I want you to kind of imagine this with me that you have just pretend that you have like real estate. Okay. You have physical,
Exactly.
tangible real estate. And if you had three hotels and a bank and whatever, right? If you had three buildings inside each of the buildings, or let's say it's a salon, because I know salon suites are popular here in Dallas, right? If you had a salon suite, each of the rooms inside of the salon suite may be for different purpose. So they may be for nails, and then one person's doing hair, and then another person's doing, whatever. So that's how when I first built out my different rooms, I built out headquarters for different reasons. And so I had my Get Noticed with Video LLC headquarters, I had Content Creators Cafe, and then even for my Stream Bosses Academy, I have different seasonal rooms. So
Mhm.
depending on
Yeah,
what the
that's a great
season might
idea.
be. And remember, I talked about short links. You can also create specific links according to, like,
Like
within
with
GoBrunch that will lead to a room. So I'll give some of you kind of a shortcut on that in a second. But let me just pull up one of these so you can see. For me, most of the time, I'm going to use virtually created rooms. But again, you can use the rooms that they've built into the space, or you can create your own. When I had the vision that I wanted to do kind of a bohemian theme for one of our seasons, I just knew that I wanted to have rooms that have, certain types of furniture and, all kinds of different things. And so what I did is I created prompts in Chat GPT, and then I went into Cree. And I also, you can go into Midjourney if some of you are Midjourney fans. And I used those prompts to create beautiful rooms that I could then upload into GoBrunch according to, like you mentioned, the aligned themes and colors and all of those type of things. So when
Tanya,
I
what's the
wanted
first AI tool you used? Cree? How do you spell that
Cree,
one?
Krea is one of them that I use. So in this instance, one of the things I'm doing right now, nobody even knows this. Y'all are the first to hear this, but I have been I'm on this kick right now of doing retro 70s because I was born in the 70s. So, retro 70s psychedelic type rooms. And I'm going to be introducing some of these for different themes of co working that we're going to be doing in our spaces. And so, I've been creating these little cool looking 70s type themed rooms.
Very fun. I mean, you can really see how vibrant and colorful they are.
Yeah. You can literally do whatever you want. Now, this is my mainstream Bosses Academy room, or headquarters rather. And you'll notice that inside of here, I have different rooms again for different reasons. So, for instance, this particular room that I'm going to take you into is one of our board rooms. And so, inside this boardroom, I have, I mean, it gives you kind of the boardroom feel. So I can have team meetings, with my team. I've got my branded logo in the space, right? Each of these circles can become its own circle cam, as you've already mentioned, Tati. And then you can do presentations, or you can add videos, you can do screen share. One of my tips, my best practice, is to leverage the virtual cam from eCam inside of the space.
Right.
And the reason why I can
Absolutely.
do that instead of doing a separate screen share is I can actually, let me see if I can do it here. I'm going to be careful. I'm just going to choose a cam that I'm not using right now. Okay. So if I were using eCam, instead of having to have separate rectangles, what I could do is I could actually just continue to use this same space and do my sharing of my screen, and do all of the things inside of the one space or one rectangle. But otherwise, I can do the presenter cam and I can do a screen share using the screen share option. I just try to keep things simple. So usually I'll use the eCam virtual cam because I can also add a countdown timer in there if I wanted to do that.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah,
just
lo
tons of
the power
options.
of the 2 tools combined is awesome, right? You still handle all your stuff in eCam, you make your scenes, you add in all your elements, and then you use Presenter Cam inside of GoBrunch to share that.
And then I also have added different widgets. So the widgets that I use, I've created in a tool called Fauta. Let me give you a kind of an example of what this might look like. So, because of the types of rooms and the co working that we do, one thing we focus on is every aspect of my boss studio formula. So, BOSS, each of those stands for something. So, the B stands for branding, for instance. So, inside of my spaces, I've created these individual rooms so that when we're co working, if someone wants to focus on offers and, upgrading their offers, they can go into that space when we do our breakout sessions. If someone wants to go into the branding room, they can go into that space. And for each of the rooms, Because of Fauta widgets, I was able to add this little record player right here will play some instructions for them. It will give them a prompt on something to work on related to branding or related to whatever it is that they're working on according to the room's theme. So there are just, I can even add, y'all, this is what's crazy. You can even add a chat bot, like an AI chat bot. So I have created a number of different custom GPTs, and I use a tool called New Oaks AI. And because of New Oaks, I'm able to create chat bots that are specifically trained to know my frameworks. So in these rooms, I've even added chat bots in some of these rooms that will answer questions and help people to work on specific types of content, whether it's their video or audio podcast or their marketing strategy or something else. But instead of me constantly having to be the go to, they can leverage the frameworks and what my bots know while they're in these co working spaces. So those are just some additional things that I wanted to share about how I'm using the room. You're raising your
Raising my
hand.
hand, I have a question.
Yes.
What you just said is blowing my mind over here because I'm thinking, I mean, I've been so interested and curious about chatbots, and I remember that you made one called Claire or
Gail.
Clara?
It
Gale.
was Gail.
Okay. Kinda sorta close. Gale. And that would be such a great tool for myself as an educator too, to create chatbots that can answer questions about specific things related to the course, specific
Yes.
things related to the content or resources, and to make it a bit more fun and interactive. So I think that it's just so many possibilities, and we're just getting started with AI. So the only thing is I did look into the Fuita thing that you had
Yep.
mentioned it, and then another person that I know, an educator in Canada who also uses GoBrunch, Joe,
Mm-hmm.
he mentioned it too, but it is no longer on AppSumo, right?
It
It's
is
no
no
longer an
longer an app
AppSumo.
sumo. It's
So
not.
now it's
Let's see the pricing.
the pricing's a little different now.
Yeah, I mean it's $9.50 a month if you have, depending on the storage that you want to have. It's still affordable, but I did get it unlimited because, I'm a scout. When it comes
Mhm,
to my
mhm.
money, I'm all about being frugal. And so yeah, I was very fortunate, but even if you depending on how you use these spaces and these widgets, you literally can create whatever you want. And if you want to charge people for these spaces and for use of your knowledge and all of those other things, you can make up for the $9.50 a month, I think. But it's really about your strategy and intention and thinking about how you're going to use the room and what you're going to do to ensure that it's not just a plain old space where people pop in and pop out. I
But can I
wanted to
ask a
make it an
question?
experience. Mm-hmm.
Can
Yeah.
I ask a question? So, could I still add, say, the record player to one of my rooms? And I've got a record player, and can I link it? I can link it to something too, right? Like I can manually add a link to it.
Let me find you a room where I actually added a widget just using Canva. Okay, because Canva, yes, you can actually create different images that represent something. Like I had one that's a chalkboard. And the way that I wanted people to navigate between rooms initially when I started Stream Bosses inside of Go Brunch is that I wanted them to be able to click on different links in the chalkboard because I didn't want them to have to try to figure out, oh, is that an arrow over there? What's right? So they weren't using the native app, they were using the chalkboard, which I'm going to try to find for you real quick. But yeah, absolutely. And I do see a lot of comments in here, so I'm
I
definitely
was
going to
about
go
to say to
back.
you, getting some love there on your 70s vibe too.
Cool. Because, I mean, why not?
Because listen, and these things take time. I actually lost track of the number of hours. So I know James Hicks said he's over there playing with the rooms and stuff. I cannot tell you how many hours I have spent working on this. And I did use sometimes it was a Chat GPT and Dolly for the images, but then I also used Adobe Firefly
Mm-hmm.
and somebody was talking about the prompting, and I know that that part is really important too, especially if you're trying to create a unified look for our buildings, for our
Yes.
spaces, and then the rooms inside of those spaces too.
So here's one. This is actually right here on the upper left corner.
I see it.
This is a chalkboard that I created inside of Canva, and then I just embedded it into the room. So this was one of my early rooms. That was my coffee house. And it
Mhm.
was just meant to be kind of the lobby area where people came in. We talked for a little bit, and then they went to different rooms according to whatever it was they were trying to do. So I created, for instance, a script writing room that allowed people to go in and they could get a specific prompt about writing scripts for their videos. And then I had one that had webinar streams. Okay, I don't know, something new is happening here. Ah,
Oh,
this
I know
one.
what that is. That's basically a that's also a new feature, which is picture in picture, so that if you click
Ah,
off of GoBrunch tab, off of the browser tab, you're still able to see yourself and whoever is in GoBrunch. So and I know that's also hot off the press.
hot off the press. Richard, you're adding some things. You are adding some things. So this one I created because I was having people that weren't already a part of my ecosystem, right? I wanted them to get to know me, or I wanted them to see my live streams. And so this was one with me and the beautiful Pam Perry, a video where they could come into this space and actually watch, how we work, like how we do guest interviews and that type of thing. So you can do so many things. So adding a YouTube playlist, or gosh, I mean, it's endless, the possibilities. Let me try to pull up some comments and questions
Yes.
too.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's go back. I got a lot in here. First of all, you did see Daryl said birth month
Oh,
celebrations are the best.
thank you, Daryl.
And then we
Not
got a
everybody
note.
loves it, but
He loves them. I love them too. Tati, that's my kind of cake. Happy birthday.
thank you. Oh, that's so nice.
We got some cake emojis.
Yay.
Happy personal
I think
year, Tati. It
aw,
is.
thank you, thank you,
Is
and,
this the
with
year of the
Daryl,
boar?
he said cake and bacon, so, cake and pork, so I'm like, "Does he want bacon on his cake?"
No, no, no. I think he's saying it's the year of the boar, the year of the
That makes
pig.
that makes more sense. That makes more sense. I'm like, "Bacon?"
Oh my goodness. Yep, you can add. Okay, so I was talking about the fact that I generate them using ChatGPT and all of that because I really want them custom to what my vision is. But
Mhm,
inside now of GoBrunch, you can actually create AI generated ones too. So I'll see if I can figure out. I'll show you real quick if I can get in there
mhm. Oh,
where
thank you,
that
Richard.
works. Happy
Aw,
birthday. Everybody's
everybody's so
saying happy
sweet. You're so sweet.
birthday.
I love my birthday. Everybody's always so nice.
I know. I know. Michael says permanence. Yeah, because you literally can just keep these rooms available. And that's one of the things I offered to my folks is look, even when we're not having official co-working time, I'm going to create some spaces where you can go and just hang out. I even created a room where you don't have to have, there's no sound except for like a playlist of nature sounds. So they can go in the room and no one's able to talk because I've turned off audio in the room except for the nature sounds. And so they can chat with each other, but it's really meant to be quiet space for them to just
Yeah,
focus and to
and
get,
and you can make your rooms public or private, like, if you wanna
yep,
add a code to get in, you can add that level of security, or if you just want to keep them open to anybody, anytime, you have that too, so there are options when it comes to that.
yes, yes, yes. Loving it, loving it. I'm loving that we're showing some possibilities. Thank you, Daryl. Okay, here's a question from Hicks. Attendees can access from their mobile devices too, correct?
Yes, yes, and I will t I've been testing this because no, I'm trying to understand everything I can is because 'cause I'm gonna teach this to my students, and I wanna know what can go wrong. So you can join from your phone and Chrome tab, but you just have to flip it this way. If you
Yes.
join in vertical mode, it you get in, but you can't see fully, and so you just have to do that. So as long as everybody uses it in horizontal versus vertical mode, it works.
Mm-hmm.
You
And you
can
also
still
said a point
appreciate
too that's
everybody's
important that Chrome is probably the best browser. Although I think I have heard some people also use, I can't think, Brave.
Mm,
Brave is very similar to Chrome. So if you're having trouble with Firefox or Edge or any of those other ones, try using Chrome for the best experience. And Richard, you can certainly correct me if I'm wrong on that because because I know that there are other options. And I
Right.
do see this note about, so pickaxe. I do use pickaxe as well, Michael. For me, I'm using New Oaks in mine currently, but I have access to pickaxe, the unlimited version too, because I have the AppSumo deal for that.
AppSumo queen. You totally are the AppSumo queen.
Uh, This is for Richard. So, Richard, I'm going to let you answer in the chat. You may have already answered. Yeah, he did answer. So, it's even more than the Prime Chef version because it has more subdomains.
Subdomains.
Daryl, I agree. Bacon is a winner. This is why I
I
can't go
mean, it is.
vegan.
It is good. No, no. Unfortunately, thank God I don't have to worry about that because I can't do dairy or wheat or soy or shrimp, but bacon, no problem.
I know,
Hello,
man.
Saeed. Hello, Saeed. Joining us from Germany.
Daryl said, I was going to ask how you're able, yeah, because it did say 27 instead of 24 hours into your days.
That's why I'm like, is that a secret code? I don't know. But then I was like, oh, okay. I got it. I got it.
I love it. Okay. Um, I'm loving the questions and the interactions, folks. If there's something specific you want to see, Tati, what do you want to know that I could possibly help you with? I don't, do we want to do a
Some of
build out or?
I would love that, and I think people would really appreciate it to see like how does this actually work? So just conceptually, you go into GoBrunch, you create a background. You have to pick a room type, create a background. And again, this took me a little while because I wasn't used to thinking about how many people do I want in the room as
Yes.
my number one thinking point. So it's like you have to get used to thinking it like that. How many seats do you want in the space? Now, for me, because my classes are 25 students plus me, 26 plus guests sometimes, plus if
Mm-hmm.
they invite somebody. So I figured 30 is a safe number for me. And then let's see, Tanya, it
Sorry, I
says that we
see
have no
my.
signal from you on Elgato, but that's okay. I'll just keep
Yeah,
talking.
I'm going to switch cameras. It's all good.
Okay. All right. So 30 seats works for me. And then, so thinking, how many people do I want in this room? And 30, because I'm thinking about it for all my university courses, that's a good number to start with. And I did from within GoBrunch start playing around. A really nice job of creating really good looking rooms. But I did want to have a very unified room. And I know within GoBrunch you can't save the prompt or have a history of the prompt. So I preferred to go externally to create the rooms with AI. And again, I chose ChatGPT and Dolly, and then from there exported the images. Oh, and also you just make sure that you're choosing the right dimensions that are
Mm-hmm.
appropriate for GoBrunch, which 1280 by 976, if I'm not mistaken, is the appropriate size. I'm but GoBrunch lets you know in their help documents what the exact size is, but I'm pretty sure that that's correct. And then once the background is chosen, it's built, I can take out that image and go into graphic design tool, Canva, Adobe Express, Photoshop, whatever you like to use, and add certain elements. But of course, you got to match the lighting, so that can be a little bit tricky. But certain things you can do, like I added a painting into my fireside library type of a thing. I added the podcast room that I showed you guys. I added the microphones hanging down from the ceiling in Canva. Then brought all that back into GoBrunch. So for me now that I've got that basic ground, oh, and I think I added a little flower pot in a flowers in a vase on a table, water bottles, something like that. I've added little things like that. So next level things though, maybe we can show them the GIF feature inside GoBrunch too. Like people have the option of being a GIF, like turning on GIFs in there. That can
Oh,
be fun.
yeah.
I showed it. It can be a little distracting sometimes too. So you do have the option to turn it off. But I think it's just a fun way for people to express themselves as well. So,
Here, do you want to show it to him?
yep. Let me go into which room would you like to see, Tanya? Cafe,
Ooh.
fireside library, podcast, the stage, the outdoor garden classroom, the lecture hall, the classroom cafe,
Oh,
the
my goodness. Let's do
campfire
Classroom
s'mores.
Cafe. Let's do that.
Okay, classroom cafe. All right. So Here's my indoor classroom cafe because I thought, why not? We have indoor and outdoor spaces. And people, when they hover, like, so here's me inside my little circle cam here. So I have the option of giving a thumbs up to something. So like we can do some reactions in here, clapping and thumbs up. So, or giving an answer for so it's voting. So I could direct all of my students, okay, would you like option A, B, or C? And then that I can quickly see what people are replying with visually. Also, you can give a thumbs up, you can give a thumbs down, you can say no. So these are some quick responses to get feedback from your participants. Then with gifts, let's just say, since we are on the birthday, I'm going to do cake. And here we go. We have, so now I now have over me a Minnie Mouse, and that's going to stay there until I click on it. So it's just going to stay there for as long as I click on. Then when I want it to go away, I do that. And then the microphone and video feature is here too, but it's also within my control since I don't know if GoBrunch calls it the host, but I'm just saying that's what I call it. Me
Yeah,
as the host.
we'll go
So
with
there's
that.
some fun features built into here too, and of course there is a chat that you can make bigger or smaller, and each individual participant has options depending on the view that you choose here as well. So that's a nice feature about GoBrunch is if I bring in and share a screen. So let me share something. Let's share a window. Let's share my scenes window from Ecamm. Right. So I've brought this into here, but if you guys are in this room with me, you get to choose how big or small this is,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how I do it, depending on the mode that I'm in. If I go into presentation mode, like it's a different view, but it's nice. Each one of my students will be able to put this wherever they want on the screen too. So that's a nice feature. And then people, the usual turning their cameras and mics on and off, and then being able to participate and share links in the chat or GIF in the chat. So when I designed the rooms, I did have to learn to avoid the not to put too much on the right side and definitely not to put anything along the bottom here
Mm-hmm.
so that you're leaving space for your seats and still having the controls visible. So it's almost like a needing to make a safe guide so that you know exactly where can the things go. And I designed all of my rooms with a lot of empty space around the top so that the presenter cams have room to go there, the screen shares have room to go there too.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I feel like I'm echoing for some reason. Do you hear that?
Not to me. You sound
Okay,
great on
good.
my end.
Okay. One thing I'm going to share a little cheat, and it's right there on her screen. See that at the bottom? I don't know if you've done this yet, but when you are creating these rooms, you have the opportunity to also give people an exit. So, have you already given them an exit landing
I
page? Not yet.
I have not.
Okay, let me show you on my screen real fast what's
Okay.
possible. This is something that I think is important, especially if you are using this for purposes. And I'm sorry, I'm going to switch over real quick here
Sure.
to a different window. Um, I had to move things around since my handy dandy camera somehow I got to figure that out. Something is going wrong. Oh,
Oh, and
this
you know
is
what? Daryl is saying that he does hear a little bit of slapback, Tanya,
does
which
he?
I don't.
Yeah.
Everything sounds good to me.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah,
from when you switched to the other camera?
it's possible.
Oh,
Now you
now he
don't.
says now I don't hear. Okay, great.
Okay.
So it resolved itself.
Good. I was hearing something crazy. I think it might have had to do with me switching things. But this, first of all, is an Excel spreadsheet where I was actually working with a client on room title, like what they wanted to call it, what the main purpose is, sharing the finished images with them, getting final thoughts. So that was a service that I was offering is the ability to be able to create rooms for some of my clients. But the thing I wanted to show you is this. So when you are hosting people, whether they are your actual community members, whether they are guests that have never, worked with you or done anything with you before, doesn't matter. What you have in this space is an opportunity to promote yourself and elevate your brand. And the way that you're going to do this is when people exit, you want to give them a specific place that they're exiting to. So, if, for instance, I'm going to go into one of these rooms. If, for instance, you're inside of a GoBrunch space and here was a celebration room that we have, for instance, I know David said, I love me some AppSumo. When they exit here at the top, so I always explain to people, no matter how many times I do rooms in here, I say, hey, everybody, so for you to exit, what you're going to do is at the very upper part of your screen, you're going to see that there's a little doorway, and that's going to take you out. So when they exit, it should take them to a landing page of
Mm,
your choice.
I see.
So for me, I gave them options to go to check out my quiz or visit my company site or return, go back to where you came from because you accidentally got out.
I was thinking people would just close the Chrome tab.
Nope, because you got to direct them. And that's why I was saying, let them
That's nice.
know how to exit so that they then exit through the space that you choose.
A nice way to create a custom message for them too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
So I'm
really
going to try
cool.
to work on my echo situation while you talk. I'm going to switch it over to you in case
Okay.
there's something you want to share.
All right. Absolutely. And I'll give some hellos right back to David Hunt. Thank you for joining us today, David. And then Kombucha. Thank you. I love some kombucha tea. So hello, kombucha to you. And all right, guys. So actually, Tanya, if you don't mind, I will show off some of the other rooms that I've been working on. I think I saw that Daryl said something about the mountain party. So I can show the mountain party room because I'm telling you, once you start making the rooms, you're just like, ooh, how about this? How about this? Co-working spaces, just unbelievable. So here is my mountain party, mountain celebration room. And this hosts up to 50 people. So this one can be bigger. More people can join us here. And I wanted to create, I mean, it's just so fascinating to me when you look in these spaces, you feel different. Like I can feel the mountain breeze. It's just your mind starts associating with what you're seeing. So it's just a beautiful way to create spaces. So making it around the table so that it feels more like a celebration, and then prompting AI to create the water on the right hand side so that there's room for navigation and space. The chat, just so as one of the biggest tips, like, and I had to learn this after doing it a bunch of times, is to design with these elements in mind from the beginning. It will definitely save you some time. So thinking about how do I want the layout to be, how do I want the feel, and then again, there's room for presentation mode up here by the big house. And it just my mind feels refreshing things, outdoor things when I look at an image like this, and I just think I'm pretty sure none of my students have ever attended classes like this before. So it's innovative, it's fun, it's creative, and so I'm excited to hopefully launch this consistently next semester with them.
Yep, you hear that, Richard? So we need your expertise and your all your ideas coming to fruition.
Oh, it's
Because I know
so
he's got
nice, Jared.
more.
Yeah, and then and I'm sure like anything else. I mean, Ecamm is so great with this, with listening to their audience and feature updates. Same thing with GoBrunch. I'm sure that they listen so much to the community and take in feedback and thoughts.
He does.
And there's somebody in the community who made a Chrome extension called GoBrunch Magic as well. So if you get GoBrunch, you definitely want to get GoBrunch Magic. So I think James Hicks is that's something for you to consider. James, if you're still here, definitely check out the Chrome extension GoBrunch Magic, which helps things make a little bit easier with the room design. And what else was I going to say in terms of preparation lessons? Or definitely the room design stuff takes a little getting used to. Oh, and you also have to know that there's 2 different view options that you can select as the host, where
Oops.
there's dynamic mode and presentation mode.
Yes.
The dynamic mode gives your viewers, your participants, the ability to move and resize their elements. Presentation mode, it says is suitable for small screens, and the view will be changed only for you. I think most people prefer the dynamic mode anyway,
I do.
but
Mm-hmm.
so I keep it. I do as well. So I keep it like that. But there are, as you mentioned, like you can not allow room sound. So, and you can change it per room. Once you have, you have your spaces, and you have your room. So again, we all become building owners when we sign up with GoBrunch. This
She
my
said
building here,
building
the Spark.
owners, not landlords.
Yeah, building owners,
I
and
like
because there's
building
also the
owners.
design. There's the design piece of it too. It's like we're not real estate moguls. That's
We're
got a different
architects.
connotation to me, but we are the architects and the designers and the hosts and the party planners, and there's just so many cool elements that come into this. But on on presentation day, when I want my students to have the virtual experience of presenting on a stage, I created a stage where the students will sit and listen here, and then we've got a big stage ready to go for when it's their time to shine up here in presenter mode, right? They would turn on their presenter cams and come up
Mhm.
here.
Love it.
And you'll see AI is not perfect. I mean, I can't help but notice some of the little things, but I'm like, gotta let at some point I was like, all right, I gotta let it I
Let
gotta
it
let it just
go.
roll here. Just let it be. Let it be.
Ah,
Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to show you, and this is something that Joe, who was working with Learning Go Brunch, taught me. And so this is a co-working space that I made for me and 8 friends to come on in here. And he showed me that it's possible. It's not built into the feature natively, I'm pretty sure. It was a bit of a hack. So he's going to show me when we connect next week exactly how to do it, but adding a little fire to the fireplace was a really cool feature that I thought was nice. And these little things, like I added these boards from Canva into here, but AI design, and again, it feels, and you can tell from my designs, like I just love this big giant window light coming through, and it's
hold
a lot
on.
of
I
fun
got
to
to put
explore.
some things up for you because I don't want to miss these. So, first of all, my blood pressure has lowered a little bit looking at the mountain party room.
That's great. That is so good. That's so
Thank you,
awesome.
everybody, for weighing in on the sound, too. Daryl said, your students are going to go nuts over this. I agree.
I think it's going to capture their attention in a unique way, because when something is new and it has this different feeling, I think it just is going to set a nice vibe.
What's up, YouTube Growth Master? I think that's what the YT is for. Claudio is the creator of Brunch Magic.
Ah, yes, Claudio, that is correct. That is the person's name. You got it.
And you are
Let's
so
see.
right, Saeed. Pick your fights. As far as the room, like if you just have a few seats in a row that don't look quite aligned, it's okay, Tati.
Well, yeah. Well, and I did have to struggle a bit with that. Is one of the good points to bring up, Tanya, is
Yes.
AI, for as awesome as it is, it does have a problem with patterns. And it's gotten
Yes.
so much better, but I could tell that, I mean, the seats in the stadium, that room did take me a long time, because
Mhm.
the seats in the periphery were like, "What? What is that? Why are they all melting into each other?" It was the weirdest thing, but
I think I have several small theater rooms. I think when you do the bigger ones, the larger ones, definitely it's a little bit harder to, to make it do what you want it to do. But Richard also has some really well made auditoriums that are already a part of the Go Brunch, you know, ecosystem. So if you go in there and you're creating a room, even if you don't know how to use Chat GPT and all of that, you still have the ability to be able to use what is available to you. Now, I have played. Have you played at all with the AI rooms that are built into Go Brunch?
I have not.
Okay, I
You mean
have.
with the AI background
Yeah,
generator, or
the
I
AI
did one I
background.
did do one. I did
Okay.
one room. I did one room, which was this office. I was like, let me just
Let
see
me
how
pull
this
it up.
tool works. So I created I call this the citrus office. So in the citrus office, this one was an AI generated image from within GoBrunch. So
Mm-hmm.
let me show you. So I went to this room and you go to your background and editor,
Yep.
and then it brings you to a slightly different view. And then when you go to background, there's a space to enter the prompt that you want, and then you generate with AI. But I didn't keep using it because, again, I was looking for a vibe and a feeling, and there's no history of what I asked for, be able to do that. So I suppose you could try copying paste it, but I thought this did a pretty good job of creating a room quickly for me for something. So I did like it. And then, this is where you would upload your own image once you have those ready.
Mm-hmm.
And the plants and the feeling, and then having the space for up to three of us to be in this room. But there
Let me
are
let me put Saeed's comment. I can't help but give people unsolicited feedback when I notice their camera overlay is even 1 pixel off. Once I see it, I can't unsee it.
yeah, if you want exact and precision, definitely
Yeah.
Saeed is the one to talk to because his mind notices these things. So
Look
when you
now,
wanna
look at me. I'm giving Saeed the side eye, like, okay, Saeed, I had to switch cameras, so it's not perfectly centered, sir. You know we love you, Saeed.
So Tanya, let me ask you, I mean, there's a lot to love about Go Brunch, and there's the creative possibility, the feeling, the mood, the vibe, the owning spaces and
Mhm.
creating rooms is actually awesome. What are some of the things that are on your wish list? Like maybe some things that you wish could be different, or things that aren't available right now that you wish that you'd have, or if you've ever had an issue, things that you would want to change?
Yeah, and I can say this honestly because I have also said it to Richard, so he knows. There are a couple. He did get to me, didn't he? um, a couple of things. One thing that I really wish would be a little bit more streamlined is the ability to register within the app itself. So if I had, for instance, a webinar and I didn't already have my own system, because there are certain people that I work with that they're not yet as mature as I am in terms of automation and tools and workflows and all of that stuff. So having the ability to be able to use a registration process where people can actually register for an event, receive the email, like I could even integrate it or connect it with my email marketing service. But just the act of being able to sign up for an event and to have that in some type of file and it runs smoothly and send the contact would be nice. That's a nice to, it's not a have to. Because right now, as I mentioned earlier, I just share the link in my own system. The other thing that I think would be really nice is the recording feature is not the greatest. So I say that as a person who is a video marketing person, right? But to me, in when you're actually inside of the app and you're recording, I found it better to use a third party platform like Loom or something to that effect in order to make sure you have a solid 1080p or above recording, depending on what you're going for, and that it's not as huge and doesn't take as long as it does. Because if you use the native app inside of GoBrunch to record, it is a large file, it takes forever, and the quality is not great. So, those are things that are on my wish list for sure. But I have been able to find the workarounds, as you mentioned, about having the extension and all of those things, the widgets. There are workarounds that pair well. I know what GoBrunch does great, and I know the things that it doesn't do as well. I have found things that work with it in partnership.
Yeah, I hear you because one of the things that's important to me in my classes is the ability to be able to not only record the class consistently, reliably every time, but also one of the features within Zoom is to have AI companion. So it's
Yeah.
automatically creating notes. It's automatically going to give me a transcript of the class that I can then repurpose for after every class I create student notes. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a combination of my agenda for the
Yeah.
day, my outline, then there's what actually happened, and then there's additional things that got thrown in there. So combining all of that and having that as a transcript that I can then create the class notes from is important. And then because especially for public speaking class where the actual words that were said during presentation are really important, there is not yet a native way within GoBrunch. So
You might try Loom
similarly,
AI
that's
because,
that's that's exactly what I was thinking too.
yeah.
And I did do a little test this week with it
Mm-hmm.
because I have Loom and I wanted to see, like, would there be any conflicts with audio between using Ecamm and sharing the sound audio in Chrome
Yeah.
and then recording via Loom. I wanted to make sure that there weren't going to be any issues, and then Loom of course gives a transcript as well. So that
Yes.
is the workaround that I have found as well. But I'm also thinking about other educators and recommending this tool to them and how they might have the same
Mm-hmm.
questions or requests or potentially even other requests. So right now, because of that, my plan is to use GoBrunch for the lower stakes classes where that content is not going to be as critical, as important to have. Like, it's okay if there isn't a recording for that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Loom being the workaround, but I would also really love a reliable and consistent video recording tool with a transcript and an AI summary for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
You can you can save the chat, I think. I
You
haven't
can.
tested that yet, but you can save the chat, right?
Mm-hmm. You can. You can save it. You can have, there's two ways that you can actually use chat and Go Brunch. One is if you have like a never ending chat. So you could have one that just continues. And I have a couple of rooms, as you may have noticed, that have words in the chat. It's because those rooms are rooms where we have continuous chat turned on. But then you can also make a selection to simply only make it available to the people that were in a specific event at a specific time, like one session. So, yeah, I've used chat in that way. And I'm trying to think about your question in terms of exporting the chat. So I better double check that because I just said yes. But when I do continuous chat, I have easily gone in and just copied and pasted because we often share links. And I've been able to pull from the shared chat, from the continuous chat,
Mhm.
and just paste. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Th
there's
I
not a
think I think
native export
that'd probably
feature.
be my number 1 request is the recording
Yeah.
and AI transcription. I mean, the transcript and the AI summary and the
Mm-hmm.
recording feature to be available. And then there's a couple of little things that I would love to is, like, the previews of the room, the thumbnails to be able to be auto-populated rather than having to
Yeah.
manually upload, but I think those are probably some of the things that will come in time,
Mm-hmm.
smaller feature requests like that. It's it's a I can't I just keep thinking of the same words. It's so creative. The possibilities are endless. Anything that your mind can imagine, you can create in this room. And it's like music. The combinations, the possibilities have no limits. Like, it's completely limitless. Each individual person can create fascinating things, which the World Building Expo, which is Go Brunch's like big gathering,
Mm-hmm.
is coming up soon. Is it not? Let me see. World
I think it is. And
Building
somebody mentioned it in
Expo.
the comments
Oh,
down
good.
there, too.
Oh, good. Good. So I was going to see if we could find the link for that because that is a nice place to go and check out what other people are making for inspiration, for ideas. Let me see. Virtual fifth World Building Expo next week
Do you
coming
have it
up.
up? You want me to share screen?
Let me see. Register. I can put it in. Let's see. I found it here, and it is a register via Luma. If you want to grab a screenshot, or you can just look up World Building Expo, but it is through Luma. And let me see. Can I
Now, is that
paste
the
the link?
one? Is that where everybody can attend, or is that the link for people to register who are participating?
I believe that is the link for everybody who wants to come, and I think you just have to register to be able to attend, but it's a free registration.
Okay.
Let
And
me
then I
just
see
because
GoBrunch has added something in here. Let's see. Working on a new chat with a more robust export feature. Hey, and a
oh,
membership
there you go.
system coming up as well.
Is that what
Okay.
you were talking about, Tanya? The membership system?
Well, sort of, kind of, in that if he's talking about potentially having a feature that allows people to sign up and to be a part of a space where I can actually export the list of people who are members, maybe. Not quite what I was talking about, but that's still a good feature for some. My membership is housed in Go High Level, so I
Gotcha.
probably wouldn't have as much benefit. I'm trying to get it back to your screen. There we go.
Let's
Hey.
see. This is okay. So this is on Luma/World Building Expo, and March 11th
Okay.
is day one. March 11th is day one, and so yes, luma.ma/World Building Expo will help you get there to check it out.
Here, I'll pop it up into. Let's do that so that people can actually.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I thought I would be able to type in the chat, but I guess not.
You can. You should be able to type in the chat, but it's only going to come to me,
Right. I think
maybe.
I could do the guest chat, but not in the
Yeah.
comments.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check that out, and let us know if you end up deciding to try. Yes, Saeed, the logo is a fried egg. Go brunch, go brunch, get some breakfast. I love it. I think it's so cute. But I also love brunch and eggs and breakfast
Me too.
with bacon, Daryl.
So when you come to Dallas next time, that's what we have to go do is
Mm.
brunch. We're gonna go
Oh,
brunch in
absolutely.
honor of Go Brunch.
Exactly. Like a real in-person go brunch. Delicious.
That
It's
is actually my favorite meal. Is brunch. I love breakfast and
I,
brunch. Like it's my
I
favorite.
would say it would be mine too. I would make that my favorite as well. But I also love coffee, and that's why like all my spaces are like cafes and lights and
Me
cafe
too.
lights.
Me too. See, this is why I think I like you. This is why because
There we go.
yes,
Sharing some love,
yes.
sharing
Look,
some
let me
love for
share
you.
some love with you too.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
People are like, "What are y'all doing?" Hey, if you
Sharing the
have
love, sharing the
questions,
love.
now is a good time for you to go ahead and pop your last minute questions into the chat. I do see a link that Michael provided. I think it is for Brunch Magic, but it's so long that it probably will not fit if I were to try to paste it on screen. So I'm just going to say look up Brunch Magic in the Chrome web store. Brunch
Yes.
Magic.
All one word. Brunch magic, one word.
Thank you, Michael. Awesome.
Absolutely.
What else? Did we
And
miss anything? Oh, and
in
this
case in case anybody missed it, you can, have another slice of cake or your first slice of cake.
enjoy the cake on us. On
Absolutely.
Tati, because she's the one that brought the cake. Oh,
A
he
little
said
cake.
any
Coffee's in the
experience on
back.
mobile. Um, I think Tati talked about it a little bit earlier, but can you share that again for Saeed? Because he might not have been here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it does work on mobiles. I've tested it, tried it on a cell phone. You just have to make sure that once you log in, it's very easy. You just grant permission for your microphone and camera like you would on a computer browser. And then the only issue is that you can't use it in vertical mode. You just have to turn it to horizontal mode to be able to see the room and to see the cameras and all that. So obviously, you're limited because it's a smaller device, but it does work. The functionality is there, which is great because then, say, in my classes, if they can't join from their computer for some reason, super simple to just join from your phone.
Yeah. And Saeed, I really feel like because of what you do and how cool your stuff, your content is when it comes to teaching, I feel like you could do so much with these spaces. If you had Go Brunch, man, Because you already are just like super creative. I've seen your work. So doing
Yeah,
this
he's
type of using these type of rooms, oh, you can create whatever you want. Even like it would just be over the top. It is Tatiana's birthday coming up soon, David. Yes.
yes, sir. Hello. Is it David Hunt?
Yep. He said happy
Oh,
birthday to you. Here,
thank you
let me
so
pop it
much,
up.
David.
Happy
You're sweet.
birthday.
Thank you, David. Thank you, thank you. That's right, big 4-8 coming up.
I told her she's a baby. Just wait. Wait to
I'll
get over
take it.
that hump.
I'll take you mean 50?
Oh man. Phew. I'm almost halfway into the 50s now, so it's been interesting. It's a whole
It's
different
unbelievable.
ride.
If we hadn't met in person and you hadn't proved it to me, I would say you're lying. Like, there's no way that that's true.
Oh, it's totally a way. I was trying to think if
But
there's anything else that I left off that maybe you all would want to know that we haven't shared, but I feel like we've shared a lot and it's probably got smoke coming out of your ears. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to like leave us a chat or a comment from wherever you're watching. Leave us a note and let us know what's on your mind, and we can definitely chime in. David's going to sing on the
aw,
day.
Dave, he's
Yay!
beautiful, beautiful
David,
voice,
I want a
beautiful
song.
beautiful
You have to
piano.
give me one in September, man. Look,
There you go. 6 months from now, don't forget,
I
Tanya's next.
know. I want a song. All right.
But, I mean, GoBrunch is an excellent tool to explore for creative virtual gatherings that are not possible anywhere else. And it's limitless possibilities. Anything that your mind can imagine, you can create in these spaces. And it does have the benefit of being fully web based without any users having to download any additional tools. Just hop on Chrome browser and come on into the space. And it does have a different feeling. It's a different mood, it's a different vibe. And for somebody like myself, having different options for my students to explore different possibilities, I think it just really adds a different experience. And I am all about creating memorable and
Mm-hmm.
meaningful experiences for my students. And this allows us to do that because it's new. It's not always the same thing. You know, they get to switch it up and they get to have different experiences. So, Tanya, thank you for telling me and showing me Go Brunch because it has opened up a whole new world of teaching for me.
I am just honored to be able to share it with you, and it's I'm hyped up to see how you're going to be using it. The rooms that you've created are beautiful, but not only
Thank you.
beautiful, they're also just going to give people that feeling, right? A different feeling of being in the space with you and learning, and I'm just excited to see what you say your students, share back. There's a couple of comments that I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up with, but Daryl says you need a like a dad video like a dad t-shirt for your birthday.
Ooh, yes, please.
I know, right? You're so welcome, Daryl. Thank you for
A
coming and
pleasure,
hanging
a pleasure,
out.
Daryl.
The
Yeah, definitely
educated
check out
natural
Daryl's channel too. If it's Video Like a Dad, if you need to learn how to use Adobe Premiere.
video like a dad. I love it. I love it. In Germany, you don't wish someone a happy birthday in advance. So he's not going to say it. He's just going to let the rest of us say it. but no bad luck.
I am not superstitious at all. I got like no superstitions, nothing. I'm like, wish me everything you can all the time.
She said, "Give me all the birthday wishes all month long, please."
Mhm, mhm. But yeah, but Tanya, as a beginner with Go Brunch, like I'm so happy that I've got the rooms. I
Hmm.
think now it's about the enhancements and
Yep.
adding the multimedia elements that can be put on there, and then also figuring out ways to gamify certain things like a planting little surprises, little Easter eggs, as they're called in
Hmm.
education, things like little surprises for students to discover along the way. Potentially, even, I think it's a good space to do an escape room or an adventure or something along those
Totally.
lines. So, there's so much that can be done with it, but I'm trying not to get too crazy too fast. Just take it one step at a time, one
Hmm.
step at a time.
And don't
But
worry about it being perfect before you launch. That's the other thing. Because
right,
you've got the
right.
foundation, right? You've got the foundation. And so now it's just a matter of people coming in, experiencing it, and then you can tweak things as you go because you can literally within seconds go in and change and update the background or change the seating and add more seats or, as things happen and you scale your classroom and it becomes bigger than 30 people, you're probably going to want to enhance the size or the circle number in each of the rooms. But it's just so flexible and it's easy to use. And I think the
Yeah.
workarounds that people will find for it are plenty. So if you ever have questions about how to actually make a certain thing work that's not quite working to your favor, first of all, attending events like the World Building Expo will be helpful because you'll get to see other people besides just us and how they're creating spaces. And you would be amazed. I have a client who actually created rooms that look like little mini bars. And inside the mini bars for NFL football watch day or viewing day, what she had is the viewing of the game, but then she had like chips and other kinds of things that had her affiliate links linked to these items, these objects throughout the room.
Mm,
So you literally have so many different ways that you can leverage this. There is nothing that is limited. If you have the imagination to make it happen, I feel like you can do it in GoBrunch. And again, kudos to Richard for creating that type of space for us. So thank you.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he's an
Yeah.
educator, and he wanted a different possibility for participants, for students to come on the scene, which is very cool. Very cool.
Which is a roadmap for all of us. Why are we limiting ourselves if we have an idea or a vision, right, for something? Why are we not thinking about how to make that thing happen and come to fruition? I think he is a role model in that way too, to me. So
Yeah. So definitely check out World Building Expo. You'll get to be a participant. You'll get to be a little circle cam in the rooms. Check it out. Check out lots of different things. That would be a great way to get some exposure to the tool and see what you think. Oh, and I definitely want to recommend because you have a lot of videos on your channel. So definitely do a search for GoBrunch on Stream Like a Boss, and because you go through lots of different ways and people can start to learn and get more familiar with it. So it's pretty awesome.
well, thank you. I was going to try to pop up that link to the world building thing again, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know where I put it. So
It's in the chat, folks. Just check out the chat. It's right there.
it's in the chat. There are more people granting you a great personal new year. Yes.
Thank you.
Go Brunch is so cool to use. Love it. So thank you. And
Awesome.
Saeed said happy birth month.
Yes, I
And
thank you very much.
we're going to go
Absolutely
with it.
appreciate that.
All right, Tati. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Yeah, it's been fun. And
It
I
sure
look forward
has.
to doing something again in the future. Maybe we have to come back and do a little reunion. Look, now I got it because I messed up my,
There we go. High five.
since I had to switch video. All
A
right.
pleasure. Thank you for introducing me to Go Brunch. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Ben and I are gonna go have some friends are having us over tonight to oh, and I just want to say, last night we went to a comedy show in Philadelphia to kick off the birthday celebrations.
Cool.
So such a good time. But have a
Very
beautiful
nice.
weekend. Thank you for your time, Tanya. Thank you for showing me and everybody watching what's possible with Go Brunch. And yeah, your influence has led to a whole new world of possibilities for my students next semester. So thank you. And
That is
thank you, Richard,
awesome.
for creating this and sending Tanya and everybody a lot of love. Look forward to talking to you again next time, Tanya.
All
I'm
right.
here for
You
you anytime you
too.
need anything.
You know I'm here for you too, girl. All right. We'll see you, folks. Have a good one. Enjoy your weekend.
Ciao.